If I told you that Monkey D. Dragon is actually Rox D. Xebec, your first thought might be that it's impossible due to timeline issues. But what if I told you there's a theory that solves that problem and even provides strong arguments to suggest they're the same person? Well, in today's video, I'm going to explain exactly this theory, why Monkey D. Dragon might actually be Rox D. Xebec. Remember, if you enjoy this type of video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so we can reach 3,000 subscribers and make my dream come true. Now, let's dive into the video. The central idea of this theory presents something that at first glance seems far-fetched, but with the arguments presented, it could make some sense. Monkey D. Dragon and Rox D. Xebec might be the same person. In other words, the mysterious leader of the Revolutionary Army, known for challenging the world government, could actually be the legendary captain of the Rox Pirates, who decades ago terrorized the seas with a feared and powerful crew. The theory is based on the idea that although these two characters appear completely different in their circumstances and goals, there is a deeper connection that could link them. On one hand, we know that Rox was an ambitious pirate who directly confronted the celestial dragons and the world government, which is also a defining trait of Dragon's mission in the present. On the other hand, the fact that we have never seen Rox's face opens the door to all kinds of speculation about his true identity. The intriguing point here is not just the potential connection between these two characters, but also the fact that One Piece's narrative has portrayed Dragon as someone who operates in the shadows, leading a revolutionary movement while little is known about his past. This, combined with the mystery surrounding Rox's disappearance at God Valley, creates the perfect space to consider that these two characters could be two sides of the same coin, with a drastic change in motivations and methods after that event. This premise raises important questions. What would cause someone like Rox to change course and become Dragon? What happened at God Valley that not only transformed him into a new figure, but also led him to completely conceal his previous identity? These are the mysteries that the theory seeks to explore, presenting the possibility that Dragon is the continuation of Rox, albeit with a renewed and perhaps redeemed focus. To understand why this theory holds some ground, we first need to delve into who Rox D. Xebec was, and why his figure is so significant in the world of One Piece. This character led one of the most terrifying and powerful crews in history, the Rox Pirates, a group that, to give you an idea, included titans like Whitebeard, Kaido, Big Mom, Shiki, and even the infamous Captain John. In other words, not only was Rox feared, but he must have possessed extraordinary charisma and power to gather and command such monstrous individuals. The Rox crew was unlike any other. These pirates were not comrades, but a group of extremely ambitious individuals who worked together because they shared common interests, primarily power and treasure. However, their reign didn't last forever. 38 years ago, in a place known as God Valley, the crew was destroyed in an epic confrontation against Gall D. Roger and Monkey D. Garp, who temporarily allied to stop them. This event marked the end of the Rox Pirates, and it is presumed that Rox himself died in the battle, along with the disappearance of the island itself. What's curious is that, despite Rox's historical importance, we have never seen his face. All we have are silhouettes or vague details, but no clear image. This detail doesn't seem accidental, as in One Piece, the mystery surrounding certain characters often serves a narrative purpose. This has led to theories like this one, suggesting that Rox's identity might have been repurposed in some way, giving rise to someone new, Monkey D. Dragon. Another key detail is that, after the fall of the Rox Pirates, the remaining members went their separate ways and became legendary figures such as emperors and great pirates. However, there is virtually no record left of Rox himself. This reinforces the idea that if he survived, he must have gone into hiding or assumed a new identity, which aligns perfectly with the narrative of this theory. In summary, Rox was such a significant and feared figure that his mysterious disappearance, along with the fact that we have never seen his face, makes him the perfect candidate for the theory that he might have adopted a new life as Dragon, a man whose ideals seem to echo the ambitions Rox might have had at his peak. The theory doesn't stop at merely proposing the idea, it also attempts to justify how it could be possible for Rox and Dragon to be the same person. One of the key points it addresses is the age difference between the two characters, which initially seems problematic. Currently, it is known that Dragon is 55 years old, while the fall of the Rox Pirates occurred 38 years ago. This would mean Rox was 17 years old at the time, something that doesn't align with the idea of him leading such a powerful group of pirates at such a young age. To resolve this issue, the theory turns to Jewelry Bonnie's devil fruit, which allows her to alter a person's age. According to this hypothesis, during the battle at God Valley, Rox didn't die as believed. Instead, his age was reverted to 17 years old thanks to Bonnie's fruit, enabling him to disappear from the world government's radar. This would also explain why there is so little trace of his existence. If he was believed to be dead and physically unrecognizable, there would be no reason to continue searching for him. Another point that supports this idea is that Bonnie isn't the only user of a devil fruit with permanent age-related effects. Shinobu, for instance, has a fruit that can age objects and people irreversibly, leaving open the possibility that Rox's rejuvenation might also have been permanent. This would have given him the chance to start a new life under a different identity, that of Monkey D. Dragon. The theory also doesn't ignore the change in ideals. Rox was seen as ambitious, but his true motivations have not been revealed. The hypothesis suggests that his goals weren't as selfish as they seemed, and that he might have had intentions similar to Dragon's, overthrowing the world government and liberating the oppressed. The fall of his crew could have been the catalyst for reevaluating his approach, abandoning the pirate path to lead a global revolution under a new banner. In this context, Bonnie's devil fruit would not only explain the age discrepancy, but also serve as the starting point for Rox to transform into Dragon, the revolutionary we know today. One of the most intriguing aspects of this theory is how it addresses the relationship between Dragon and the Monkey family, particularly his connection to Garp and Luffy. In One Piece, familial relationships are often a central theme, and this hypothesis attempts to provide an explanation that, while complex, aligns with the known pieces of the puzzle so far. The theory suggests that Dragon might not actually be Garp's biological son, which would explain why they don't resemble each other physically. Instead, it proposes that Garp had a daughter, Luffy's mother, who married Dragon. According to this idea, after Garp's daughter passed away, Dragon adopted the Monkey surname as a symbolic gesture, maintaining the family lineage and carrying on the name. Another version of the theory suggests that Dragon might not even be Luffy's biological father, but rather an adoptive figure or someone who cared for him from afar. This would fit with the fact that Dragon was never present in Luffy's life, but still showed an interest in protecting him, such as when he sent Ivankov to Marineford to help save him. This type of relationship is compared to characters like Kuma and Bonnie, where there's no direct blood connection, but there is an emotional or moral bond driving their actions. These ideas also attempt to explain the physical and personality differences between Dragon and the other members of the Monkey family. On one hand, Luffy and Garp are much more extroverted and carefree, while Dragon is reserved, serious, and strategic. This reinforces the notion that Dragon might not come directly from Garp's biological line, but has taken a place within the family due to external circumstances. Finally, these theories add another layer to the mystery surrounding Dragon, a character about whom very little is known. While the theory is speculative, it offers a possible reason for Dragon's distance from the Monkey family and his almost obsessive focus on the revolution, a complex past as Rox, and the need to protect Luffy from the consequences of his actions. This, at the very least, would justify why Garp and Dragon appear to have a distant relationship and why Dragon has remained on the sidelines, both in his son's life and in his supposed father's. As with any theory, criticisms and doubts are inevitable, and this one is no exception. While the idea that Dragon and Rox D. Xebec are the same person has some intriguing aspects, it also faces significant issues that are hard to overlook. Two of the most questioned points are the temporal inconsistencies and the family relationships. The first major obstacle is the issue of age. Although the theory attempts to justify Rox's rejuvenation through Jewelry Bonnie's devil fruit, this remains speculative. So far, it hasn't been confirmed in One Piece that the effects of her fruit can be permanent, especially when applied to someone else. Moreover, while the manga has shown other cases of abilities that alter age, such as Shinobu's fruit, it's unclear if these properties work similarly, leaving an important logical gap in this hypothesis. On the other hand, the mystery surrounding Dragon's family also raises unanswered questions. For instance, if Dragon isn't Garp's biological son, why would he carry his surname? And if he isn't Luffy's real father, how can his interest in protecting him be justified beyond a simple symbolic or moral bond? These narrative gaps are points that the theory tries to address, but doesn't manage to resolve convincingly, leaving room for its viability to be questioned. Another detail that complicates accepting this idea is Rox's character and ideals, which have been presented as ambitious and willing to work with extremely dangerous individuals to achieve his goals. Although the theory suggests that Rox might have had a more altruistic background, this seems to contradict the image the manga has built so far. Rox Rox's transformation into dragon would require not only a physical change, but also a radical personal evolution, something that, while possible, would be difficult to justify without resorting to forced explanations. Finally, the fact that Eiichiro Oda has never shown Rox's face or delved deeply into Dragon's past might simply be a narrative choice to maintain the mystery, without any direct connection between them. While the lack of details fuels theories like this, it could also mean that both stories are intended to develop independently. In conclusion, although the theory offers creative solutions to these inconsistencies, many of them feel too speculative and rely on assumptions that haven't been confirmed in the story. This doesn't completely invalidate the theory, but it does cast doubt on its viability within the One Piece canon. Honestly, this theory feels like a bit of a roller coaster to me. When I first heard it, I thought, wait, could this actually happen? The idea that Dragon and Rox might be the same person is definitely intriguing and even exciting, but I can't help but notice some issues that make me doubt it's something Oda would really do. On one hand, I can't deny that connecting two such mysterious characters has its appeal. Thinking that someone like Rox, who led such a feared group of pirates, could have completely changed his life and become the revolutionary dragon is the kind of plot twist that would break the internet. Plus, the fact that we've never seen Rox's face and that Dragon's backstory is so unexplored makes the pieces seem to fit, at least on a surface level. It's one of those moments where you think, maybe there's something there. However, being realistic, I feel like there are too many things that don't quite add up. For example, the idea of rejuvenation with Bonnie's fruit feels a bit too forced. Sure, in the world of One Piece, anything is possible, but it's hard for me to imagine Oda using something so specific to justify this connection. And if Rox really did have ideals so similar to dragons, why would he have associated with such ruthless pirates like Big Mom or Kaido? That part always leaves me scratching my head. Then there's the family aspect. To me, one of the most important elements in One Piece is how relationships between characters are handled, especially family bonds. If Dragon isn't really Garp's son, or if his connection to Luffy is more symbolic than biological, wouldn't that have been hinted at more clearly by now? I'm not saying it's impossible, but it feels like a big departure from what the manga has shown us so far. Despite all this, I have to admit I love the idea of Oda surprising us with something like this. I can already imagine the uproar in the community if it turns out that Dragon and Rox are the same person. It would be insane. Even though I personally don't think it's something that will happen, I wouldn't mind at all if Oda decided to include this twist, as long as it's done in a way that doesn't feel forced or like a cheap plot device. In conclusion, I think this theory is more of a fun exercise for fans than something that's actually going to happen in the story. But hey, with Oda, you never know. For now, I'm choosing to stay skeptical, but open to being surprised. Who knows? Maybe we're closer to a giant revelation than we think. Look, to be honest, after going through the entire theory, I'm torn. On one hand, I can't deny that it has some interesting points, but on the other, it feels like there are way too many loose ends. Now, if we're talking about the actual likelihood of this happening in One Piece, I'd say it's pretty low. But then again, we're talking about Eiichiro Oda, and he's capable of surprising us in ways no one expects. The first thing that comes to mind is that, for this theory to work, Oda would have to weave everything together with surgical precision. Connecting Rox and Dragon as the same person would mean rewriting a significant part of One Piece's history, not just the events at God Valley, but also how the characters have been portrayed up until now. Honestly, I'm not sure if it'd be worth complicating things that much when the story is already rich and compelling on its own. Also, when I think about it logically, Dragon has all the potential to be an incredible character without needing to be the rejuvenated version of Rox. He's a revolutionary leader, someone who challenges the world government and has built a movement capable of changing the world. That alone makes him fascinating enough without adding such a convoluted connection to Rox. For me, it would be far more impactful to see how Oda develops his story independently, diving into his relationships with Luffy, Garp, and the Revolutionary Army. That said, I won't lie. If Oda decided this theory was true, it would be a massive shock. Imagine the fan reaction to discovering that Dragon has been Rox all along. It would be one of those jaw-dropping moments that everyone talks about for weeks, but it would have to be executed perfectly, because otherwise, it could feel like an unnecessary twist or a cheap way to surprise the audience. In the end, while I'd love to see Oda pull off something like this, I still think it's unlikely. This theory has intriguing ideas, but it also leans heavily heavily on speculation and tying together loose ends that maybe don't need to be tied. Personally, I'd rather enjoy the mystery surrounding Dragon and Rox as separate characters, but hey, if this turns out to be true, I'm not going to complain. On the contrary, I'll be there enjoying the chaos this would cause in the community. Who knows what else Oda has up his sleeve? And that's the end of the video discussing the theory that Monkey D. Dragon is actually Rox D. Xebec. I'd love for you to share your thoughts on this theory in the comments. Let me know if you're for or against it and why. Also, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so we can reach 3,000 subscribers. Sending you a big hug, and I'll see you in the next video.